Today, let's learn more about this beautiful petite watermelon peperomia. I have one of these gorgeous plants and made a research on how to care for them to make sure I'll be doing the right care for this one. So stay tuned, guys. Peperomia argyrea, or popularly known as watermelon peperomia or watermelon begonia. Though those are their common names, this plant is not closely related to either watermelons or begonia. Watermelon peperomia is the common name used maybe because of its similarity of appearance to the skin of a watermelon. They are native to northern South America, including Bolivia, Brazil, Ecuador, and Venezuela. Watermelon peperomia is a small plant grown for its attractive leaves. They grow up to 12 inches tall, and the mini watermelon peperomia only grows up to 6 inches tall. Because of their small, bushy rosette appearance, they're best suited for grown or when grown outdoors as a ground cover or grouped together with other plants indoors. Watermelon peperomia is appreciated for its rounded, fleshy leaves marked with silver and dark green stripes that resemble the markings of a watermelon. And they are low-growing plant. Although the plant is usually grown as a house plant, it can also grow outdoors in warm climates, but in shaded areas. These are very easy to grow and can make good plant choice for the beginner. Keeping the basics of the care instructions will allow these plants to thrive. You can also display them to other plants that have similar care needs to help them look more attractive. Otherwise, they can look a bit isolated because of how small they are. They can be placed in a planter and look great, but you will need to make sure other plants share the same care needs. For the size of this plant as a whole, the leaves are fairly large. These peltate leaves, or stem attached centrally, are kind of oval in shape and display an outstanding mixture of green and silver stripes. The leaves have a fleshy feel to them that are attached to thin, non-woody red stems. Non-showy flowers can appear during summer or slim stalks, or the flower spikes that are greenish in color. They are not even worth a mention if a grower is looking for attractiveness in flowers. They are all about the foliage. If you are planning to get or care for this plant, here are some things to remember. First, the light. A bright room with a plant placed in a shaded spot is ideal, without direct sunlight. In their natural habitat, they reside under cover within forests with some sun and shade. So we need to try and replicate this. Sitting back from a west, east, or even south facing window is best. Although most types of peperonia thrive in bright light, too much light fades the bright colors of the variegated foliage. So again, when you grow this indoors, a window with an eastern exposure provides an excellent light is a good area. And if it is placed outdoors, grow the plant in light shade or filtered light. Second thing to consider is the soil. Well, peperomia grows in any good quality regular commercial potting soil or a homemade mixture containing ingredients such as compost, loam, or peat moss. A handful of sand or vermiculite promotes drainage. I highly recommend using a potting medium that's well draining. A peat based soil is best used because it drains well. So at least 2 parts peat and 1 part perlite is a good mix. Now, another thing is the humidity. Watermelon peperomia is a tropical plant that prefers humid conditions, but is prone to stem rot in soggy soil. Average indoor humidity should be fine. You can mist the leaves every now and again during summer months if the air becomes dry. Being around other indoor plants will improve humidity. Well, if the air is dry in summer, increase humidity by setting the container on a humidity tray. This is a tray with a layer of wet pebbles. Watermelon peperomia does not tolerate freezing temperatures, so if you take your plant outdoors during warm weather, bring it in as soon as nighttime temperatures drop to 60 to 65 Fahrenheit. Ideal temperatures for the plant are 85 degrees Fahrenheit, and during the day and the low 60 degrees Fahrenheit at night. Although the plant tolerates cooler weather, it will drop its leaves when temperatures drop below 50 degrees Fahrenheit. For the container, watermelon peperomia is well suited for planting in containers or hanging baskets. Drainage is critical, so make sure that the container has a drainage hole in the bottom. Watering. It is also important not to water these plants too much or underwater them. Overwatering can cause rot and underwatering will make them wilt. So to get watering just about right, allow the soil to dry to the touch at the top and then water thoroughly, but much less during cold months. Water the plant deeply when the top of the soil feels slightly dry. Let the pot drain completely and never allow the plant to stand in water. Check outdoor plants daily during warm weather. And during cold weather, water sparingly and allow more time between each watering so the soil has time to dry a bit more than usual. Now, with regards to fertilizing the plant, watermelon peperomia is a light feeder, and too many nutrients may cause a leggy, spindly plant instead of a compact, bushy plant. Fertilize the plant only when you feel that they need it, using a balanced, water soluble fertilizer. And you have to avoid granular fertilizers, which are too strong and may scorch the plant. If you decide to repot your watermelon peperomia, be careful not to give it too much room. This plant likes to be slightly root bound, so it is best to opt for a pot that seems a little bit too small. You will not need to repot this plant very often. After about 1 to 2 years, you may need to move it to a slightly bigger pot, and you can also replace the soil so they will have a fresh one and you're sure that it is ants free. When it comes to propagation, there are two ways in how you can propagate this watermelon peperomia. These are the leaf cutting and the water propagation. Now, leaf cutting, this is the most common and easiest way to propagate a peperomia of this type. And all you need to do is just to remove leaves with stalks and use rooting hormone on the cut before planting. Cut watermelon peperomia leaf from mother plant with its stalk. Cut the leaf in half. And this is also optional. You can dip the two halves in a rooting hormone. Then you can lightly tuck the two halves in soil. About an inch of stalk with a leaf should be fine, and keep the soil moist and warm. Keep in warm and humid environment with medium to bright light, and then you can water when top level of soil is dry. Now, propagating in water, you can also propagate watermelon peperomia or any type of peperonia cuttings in water. Some types of peperonia make babies, which can be cut off the mother plant and put in water to encourage root growth. Well, this process will produce roots quickly, usually within 2 to 4 weeks. However, water roots are not soil roots, as they're more fragile and only live in water. So, when transplanting it to soil, it will have to regrow soil roots and acclimate and stabilize to new potting medium, which take a longer time to grow. Now, other would ask if peperomia watermelon are succulents. Well, they may look and behave like succulents, and it's commonly called a succulent-like plant, but it isn't classified as a succulent. It might be easy to think that it's because it stores water in its leaves, stems, and roots, just like succulents do, but they are not. Peperomia require a bit more water and higher humidity than the average succulent. Peperomia can go longer between most of your other houseplants between waterings. It needs water when the first 2 inches of soil are dry, so when the leaves start to droop. Watermelon peperomia is also prone to root rot. If it sits in wet soil for too long, their stems will break and brown spots appear on their leaves. That's why a well draining soil is highly recommended. So here's the good news. Unlike rubber trees or arrowhead, which are considered toxic because of their sap, peperomias are non-toxic. So they are 100% human and pet safe. This could be one of your favorite houseplants because it's not just the beautiful leaves that they have, and aside from it, it stays petite and just require low indirect light and moist bottoms, and it is also a non-toxic plant. Thank you so much, guys, for watching, and hope this helps. Stay happy and blessed, and please like and subscribe for more informational videos in the future. Thank you. Bye-bye.